This made headlines these past couple of days, and it was Ebro on Apple Music saying that Drake has no classics, no classic albums at all. The interesting thing is, like, obviously the internet scorched him, because I'm going to kind of break down what, like, the internet's, the majority of the world agrees that Drake's Take Care is a classic, like, unequivocally. If you ask, like, anybody, they'll say, hey, that's a classic, right? Nothing Was the Same as that is in that conversation, as well as So Far Gone, the mixtape. Those are the three that have always been in the conversation of classics for Drake. For me personally, I got to go back to these albums and really listen to them, but they're a 9.5 out of 10 on these albums. Mainly Nothing Was the Same. Nothing Was the Same to me is basically a classic almost. I know, here's the thing. I can say that something's not a classic, but I know what the general public feels about something, right? At the end of the day, it's opinion. But like the way Ebro says it is like it's a fact that Drake has no classics, which is disrespectful. And Ebro, here's the problem with Ebro, is his bias is it's hidden, but it's hidden in the messages. And that's a problem with any content creator. You should want your content creator or the person that you're getting news from or that you're listening and watching to be very clear on who they like a lot and who they dislike, right? And with me, there's no question that 50 Cent is my favorite. Eminem is also one of my favorites. I'm more in the G-Unit, Shady Aftermath camp. And that's the situation with Drake, right? I personally don't think he has any classic albums. I think Nothing Was the Same is there. It's a 9.5 out of 10, damn near a 10 out of 10. I got to release to the album. Maybe I'll add it to my classics list in the future, like I did the Eminem Relapse. But for me to deny what majority of people think, and that's Take Care being a classic and potentially Nothing Was the Same being a classic as well as So Far Gone, would be me just being a hater at the end of the day, right? Like, because with Nas, I don't think Nas has a classic to me, but Illmatic to a lot of people is a classic. I don't think Jay-Z has a classic, but a lot of people think Blueprint is a classic and maybe other albums is a classic. I can understand where the general public is at with it. But with Ebro, it's like he feels like he's the general public and he's just like, nah, f that. Like, he doesn't have one. And it's clear where his bias leans towards. It's towards Kendrick Lamar, and he doesn't admit it. He'll never say it because then people won't take what he says serious. But that's a problem. Like, you should want the people that you're listening to, like me, for example, to make it very clear where my favorites are. So that when I talk about my favorites, yeah, you can kind of question it and you can kind of be like, I don't know if I should listen to him when it comes to, 50 Cent. I get that. But at least I'm honest with where, I have my favorites at.